When tourists saw this green substance on the beach, experts warned them to keep their distance.
Before we begin, do us a favor and click that like button. Also subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be inspired by these inspiring stories every day.
It's July 2019, and you've decided to take a summer vacation on France's northwest coastline. But when you arrive at one of the beaches, you notice a strange-looking green substance accumulating on the shore, which also gives out a pungent odor. As it turns out, this bizarre sight is incredibly dangerous, and you're warned to stay away for your own safety. Like countless other coastal regions across the world, Brittany, France is home to some lovely beaches. Unfortunately, a number of those picturesque locations were badly affected by the aforementioned substance in the summer of 2019. However, this wasn't the first time that the harmful green sludge had made it to shore. As the green sludge continued to accumulate on several Brittany beaches in 2019, two families suffered tragic losses. Sadly, a young man and an older gentleman both died within days of each other over that summer, with the substance being blamed. Following that, a number of individuals then revealed the dangers you'd face visiting those locations. When the summer months roll around, many of us feel the urge to visit our local beaches where we can soak up the sun. These statistics certainly back that up, with one state in particular boasting some impressive numbers. Indeed, New York has seen a swell of people head to the seaside in the last few years. From Morlaix Bay to St. Malo, these places boast beautiful shorelines. However, in the past few decades, a certain type of algae has been attributed to some worrying reports. As we mentioned before, several animals were said to have died back in the 1970s after coming into contact with the green substance. Following that, a physician in Brittany made their concerns public when a man died in 1989. The individual in question had gone for a run on a beach in Saint-Michel-en-Grève, one of the region's communities. Unfortunately, he didn't make it back home, as his body was soon discovered alongside a mass of what was described in contemporaneous reports as seaweed. For you see, some 20 years on from the jogger's passing, two more high-profile incidents came to light in 2009. One of them involved a vet who was out with his horse on a Brittany beach. The pair eventually came across a large pile of algae, which led to a terrifying moment. The vet passed out after getting too close to the slimy green sludge, while his horse sadly died at the scene. Thankfully for the former, someone was able to pull him away from the sea before anything got worse. But the same couldn't be said for another man that year. In a similar case to the jogger back in 1989, a man named Jean-René Offray went out for a run in 2016. He was 50 years old at the time and wanted to get himself ready for a testing race. So Offray decided to stretch his legs with his pet dog in Hillion, another of Brittany's local communities. Sometime after Offray left his house, the dog came back without him, prompting his family to begin hunting for him. As a result, his body was eventually discovered among the algae on a nearby beach. It's believed that the 50-year-old died in the same stretch of land where the bodies of more than 30 wild boar had been uncovered in 2011. In that instance, the 18-year-old who was working as an oyster farmer was found in Morlaix Bay, leading to a big decision. With the algae showing no signs of dispersing, the local authorities looked to keep both residents and tourists safe. They opted to shut down 6 of Brittany's beaches. Keeping all that information in mind, you might be somewhat concerned about the overall safety of algae. After all, when you visit beaches in your local area, you could well spot the green mass washing up on shore. However, in the vast majority of cases, it's completely harmless to humans. The post added, "However, there exists a vast and varied world of algae that are not only helpful to us, but are critical to our existence." Well, that might sound a touch overstated at first. The statement is fairly accurate. Author Ruth Kassinger went on to back it up in one of her books in 2019. Titled Slime: How Algae Created Us, Plague Us, and Just Might Save Us, Kassinger's publication revealed that the organisms actually create oxygen. In fact, she also claimed that over half of our planetary supply of the vital gas stems from the green plants. Due to that, we'd struggle to breathe if algae just disappeared. As for the algae that washed up in Brittany, those organisms didn't boast the same helpful properties. For you see, when that green mass reached the shore, it was rotting. On top of that, a number of environmentalists believe that local farming could be blamed for the quantity that keeps appearing too. To give you a better idea of just how bad things have become by 2019, UK newspaper The Guardian interviewed one of Brittany's residents. Andre Olivero lived in Sunbrook, where mounds of dead algae had piled up on the beach. Due to that and the horrific smell that sprung from the vegetation, he slipped a gas mask on while talking to the publication. "You can't be too careful," Olivero told the paper in September 2019. "When I was 16, I used to bring a boat here with my uncle. In those days, it was all about natural beauty, and you didn't see seaweed piled up. It's a shame this place has come to be associated with death." In addition to that, Haskell believed that local officials had to take a closer look at other aquatic fatalities going forward. "There are 600 deaths per year related to swimming," he told TV news network CNN in July 2019. "So we don't say that every time it's because of algae, but we're angry because it's a hidden phenomenon." Haskell added, "We ask that every time someone dies, we need an investigation." Meanwhile, someone from the French National Center for Scientific Research made an interesting point on this subject. As we mentioned earlier, environmentalists thought that Brittany's farming could be attributed to this continued algae growth in the region. The world is filled with stories going viral every single day. But how many of these sites can you actually follow? We understand that your day should start with positive stories, stories that resonate with you. And so we started JoJo Stories. Our mission is to create meaningful stories that cover everything from animals to anthropology, history to environment and lifestyle. The kind of content you read on our site will be one you'll want to share with your family and friends. We hope you'll join our growing family and be part of our community. Welcome to JoJo Stories, jojostories.com.